These are three mastermind people that are going to wow you. That I've handpicked them. They're great at what they're amazing at what they do. The first one coming to the stage is Mr. Scott Transue. Come on down. Oh, look how handsome he looks. Every time a speaker comes to the stage, they're sitting so far back. It takes 4 hours to get up here. How are you, buddy? I'm doing awesome. Good to see you. Have fun.
How are you? Now, first thing we need to do, and this is only going to take a couple of minutes, trust me. I feel like there's a bit of an elephant in the room that we need to take care of here. And yesterday, all of us, including myself, took some time and we wrote down what we wanted. And then Craig came around and had all of you go to the microphones and tell all of us what you wanted. And some of you had him, and I know it was painful, and I will apologize on his behalf for this, okay? He had you repeat what you wanted. And he kept asking you, what do you want? And I kept thinking to myself, okay, he's lost his rocker. He's finally, it's over. It's done with. But what's he getting at? And then it occurred to me. And I actually, in my book there that I'm writing in, I rewrote something on my own. Because in the beginning, I was putting down a lot of what you folks were doing, the same type of thing. I want this company. I want that company. I want to have this. I want to have all kinds of money. I want to do this and do that. Got a little tip for you. It's not really what you want. Here's what you want. Two things you want. And I'm going to give you permission right now to do those. First thing you want is the following. You want to change how you feel. You want to change your state. That's what you want. Now, all the other things that you listed are ways of doing that. But what you really want is to change your state. Now, Anthony Robbins is very famous for talking about this. So let's go back into that hierarchy that we looked at when we first started this weekend together. The hierarchy had in it significance. Had significance in there. So I'm about to give you all permission to do something that you really need to do. It is imperative. You're at a personal growth weekend. You're going to leave here at some point, probably Sunday. Monday's going to roll around. Family, friends, co-workers, all kinds of people are going to come back at you. And some of you are going to spout off about what you learned here, what you did here, all the dreams you've got. And you're going to start hearing the tapes again. I know this from personal experience. It's happened to me before. You're going to start getting those tapes back. And they're not the tapes you want, by the way. The tapes you're going to start hearing are you sure? A little risky, don't you think? Maybe you should just stay where you are. Now, when that happens, of course, you're going to go back to your manuals. You're going to go back to all the things you wrote down. But I want you to add one thing to it right now, someplace in your books there. This is what I want you to add, and I want you to look at this every day until further notice. Here is what I want you to write down. I give myself permission to be extraordinary. I give myself permission, and here's the big one. Here's the one that some of you were sort of skirting around. I give myself permission to be a celebrity. Because here's the bottom line. Many of you spoke about huge goals, massive goals. And that's great, awesome. But if you don't achieve that celebrity status in whatever it is you do, you're going to have a little more difficulty than you should attaining them. You get the celebrity status, the resources come, the contacts come, the networking happens, and then it flows. So please do not be afraid to want to be famous. Okay? Can we be okay with that just for right now? Are we okay with that? Awesome. I want to tell you about a woman named Betty. I do speaking across the country on various topics. I do one on sales tax, a seminar on sales tax. And yeah, that's pretty much the reaction I get when I start out, by the way. So after one of these seminars, a woman named Betty comes up to me. And she said, Scott, do you do coaching? And I said, sure, I do coaching. And she says, well, here's my dilemma. I really want to be higher on the career ladder than I am right now. And I asked Betty, well, what do you do? Well, I'm in accounts payable. That's why I'm in your seminar. And I told Betty, awesome, awesome, awesome. I've got a test for you. Before we do any coaching of any kind, here is what I want you to do. And this is what I told Betty. I want you to do the following. 15 minutes a day. Read something nonfiction. Business development, motivation, whatever the case may be, as long as it's nonfiction. 15 minutes listening to something motivational. You want to put together Rocky and Eye of the Tiger and all those wonderful songs? Go right ahead. So she said, awesome. And I said, here's my business card. I'll be in contact with you in 3 days. It's when I was getting home. Now, here's what happened. About a day later, I get a text. And the text says, call me, Betty. And I'm getting into my next city. And I call Betty, and she says, Scott, I'm having some trouble here, dude. And I said, okay, what's going on? And she says to me, I don't know what book to read. And I says, okay, you have a bookshelf at home? Yeah, sure. Okay, so what's on it? Well, I've got the Harry Potter series, I've got a bunch of romance novels, and I have the Bible. Notice how she put the Bible last. Whatever. And I said, okay, so Betty, would it be fair to say you are a Christian woman? You are of the Christian faith? Yeah, absolutely. So would it also not be fair to say that the Bible is a source of inspiration and motivation for those of the Christian faith? Yeah. So let's start with the Bible. And I will never forget her response. She said to me the following, well, where do I start? Well, how about in the beginning? First 3 words of Genesis? I mean, is this really that hard? Apparently. So she said, okay, awesome. Then she said something else. I'm having trouble listening to those tapes you told me to listen to. And I said, well, what's going on? And she says, well, I tried to do it last night. American Idol came on. And I said, okay, anything wrong with American Idol? No, nothing, not one bit. But here's the thing, and write this down. 15 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of listening to motivational material. Here was her issue, and I told her about it. Betty, I said, here's your problem, and I'm going to wrap it up here. You're more comfortable watching other people live their dreams than you are living your own. And she looked at me and stopped. And that was it. Don't be more comfortable watching other people live their dreams than you are living your own. Mr. Duswalt.
Great job, Scott Transue. Let's hear it. Good job. What a commanding voice.